Right, let's try this one. I need to remember to where I got to. We're back, baby. Yeah, we are. Except for I need to go back to the last stream to figure out where the hell I gotten to. Lap 4. Yeah, it's about here. This will work. This will be fine. Right, I'm not even going to bother messing around, we're just going to go. Yes, it's been a while since my game has crashed on stream. Yes, I'm still notorious for it. However, I still have internet. There is a bonus to this. So, recap, Noddy got pushed a little bit wide, tries to get the inside of Turbo, technically going through turn 2 and 3. Chaos has another Chaos moment. Sim is now going to get involved. As we go into Lesbos 1, as Gump decides to completely send it up the inside and then yeet the Beetle off into non-existence. Was that someone else that got sent off as well? No, it was just Simba. Yes, it was someone else that got yeeted off into non-existence. So, Gump's had a moment. Simba nearly collects Blade. Gump has a moment all by himself, spins himself out, so now this promotes Dex up to 6th, Jess is up to 7th, Grin's up to 8th, Danger's up to 9th, going further forward. These guys are still at it. I'm not even going to consider looking at P1 and P2, because P1 and P2 seem to be in another dimension on their own. So we're going to stay here. So I'm keeping the stream up on my phone so I can see what you guys can see as well. Oh, Naughty, very late on the brakes. That McLaren driver is not quite going to work this time. Oh, Chaos just slightly misses his gear shift a little bit. Lets third run a little bit too much as we go a bit further back. As we've got Grin who goes around the outside of Jezza. Jezza's now going to be in the slipstream, gives Grin a little bit of a push. Let's go a bit further forward. Nordy's now ahead of Turbo. Nordy's now into 3rd. Turbo's now down to 4th. Chaos holds it completely flat through turn 1. He's going balls to the complete wall. Brakes a little bit later than Turbo. Tries to attack going into the corner. Turbo kind of knows he's there, kind of doesn't really give him any space. Blade now goes up to 5th. The two Lexus drivers now together. Here comes Jezza. Jezza's got a great exit coming out of turn 3. And goes up the inside of both of them, gives Chaos a tap, and Chaos gets tapped by his own teammate too, so Chaos has not had a great lap. Through goes Blade. Chaos is now down to 10th. He's going to lose out another couple of spots to Simba and Fracas. Fracas now up to 12th. Now 11th. After going up the inside of Chaos. Chaos now down to 12th. Hamilton 13th. GK on 14th. Fred in 15th and Gump's bringing up the rear in 16th at the moment. As Moose finally got a penalty to slow him down a little bit. But not enough of a penalty. That's not done anything. Kovacs is in 2nd. Very healthy and comfortable 2nd. Nordy's in 3rd as what the hell has happened here? So, Turbo's had a moment. Oh dear. So, Dex is now in a very, very good position. Turbo has a moment going over these things. You've got to be very careful you don't go over these things here. They like to unsettle cars. It's not healthy for cars. I've in experience. Dex has got absolutely nowhere to go. He's not missing that at all. So off goes Turbo. Turbo tries to rejoin, collects his teammate, so his teammate has now lost all momentum. Here comes Danger and Grin, so Grin and Danger have now gained a load of positions. Dex has now lost a position as well, and Jez has lost out at 2. A bit further back from that, we got Blade in 8th, and he's in striking distance of this group. So 4th is very much up for grabs at the moment. 3rd's too far gone. I highly doubt 3rd's going to really change. The top 3's now going to change. We're going to come back. Blade going past Jezza. So Blade's not going to play the bump draft game. He's going for position. These guys have now lost a toe. Going further forward. Green goes up to 4th. Danger now defends from Dex, who's going to just sit in the back for a moment. Bit further back from there, Jezza holds his line. Dex Blade outbreaks himself, so down he goes. Dex has got an absolute monster of an exit coming out of turn 3. Managed to get the inside of Danger, so through goes Dex. Grin's now got a little bit of breathing space. Dex manages to keep it on the track, doesn't go off into the grass. Oh, Danger has a moment, but keeps enough momentum going to stay in the slipstream of that Z4. Here comes Jezza. This GKR, sets the fastest lap of the race at the moment. Jezza pulls out the slipstream, tries to have a little look, tries to potentially just put a little bit of pressure on up ahead. A bad couple of corners from the Ferrari. Not going to be able to capitalise down the back straight. Dex uses the power and the acceleration of the Z4 to pull away just a little bit. So at the moment Dex is safe, although he goes a bit deep into the final corner, but that might help him because he's going to get a nicer, straighter second half to the corner, which might help him. But the Peugeot's got a much tidier mid-section of the corner, so that's managed to pull him back into contention. We're going to come back and check the rest of the grid very quickly. So Simmons in 9th, Fracas in 10th, Hamilton's 11th. At the moment, GKR's in 12th after recently setting the fastest lap of the race. Chaos is down in 13th, being recently dispatched by GKR. Fred's in 14th, Gumps in 15th, and Turbo's bringing up the rear. So another recovery drive from Turbo, it seems. There goes the top 2, as we don't really see them that much anymore in this series. There goes P3, Bryn in P4, Dex holds off P5 at the moment to Danger, who's in P6, Jezza's in 7th, Blade's in 8th, Simmons in 9th. Hamilton's got back up ahead of Fracas. We're going to come back and watch these two as well, because these two are having their own little tasty battle as we're coming through the top end of the course. GKR goes up the inside, clean move as well. Goes a little bit hot into the second right-hander. But it's not enough of a cost for Chaos to catch up. Chaos very aggressive on the curbs. On the entry, that Lexus is planted as we go through those couple of corners. Manages to make up a bit of lost time, sucks himself back up into the slipstream. GKR does move to try and break it. Chaos doesn't really make that much of an effort to go back into it as quick as possible. Let's go a bit further forward. Fracasum's got himself a 1 second penalty, so this is going to cause him to fall into the back of those two. Going a bit further forward from that, Jez has lost out of position to Simbuts. Blades is still in 7th. These guys have opened up the gap just a little bit. We're going to stay here with Hamilton. Hamilton over the back of Fracas at the moment. Does he go for a move? He's potentially considering it. He's there, he's up on the inside, brakes a little bit later. Just a car length later. Through goes, as Crofty once said, through goes Hamilton. Oh dear. We've joined this at the wrong time. So, what delights do you two bring us today? Chaos brakes very late. Tries to... Okay, does a bit of a hash job on the rejoin, I would admit. Is Fred going to capitalise? Going to attempt to. Chaos just doesn't drive off though, so at least very gentlemanly. J-Car goes off the track. Now rejoins. Is Gump going to capitalise? Don't think he's going to be able to this time. Oh, Jesus, that Jack drinks the fuel. Wow. GKR defends to the inside. Oh, good brakes very, very late. Is he going to make the corner? No, he's not. So off goes Gump. GKR's now got a bit of free air and a bit of free ground around him. He's probably going to lose the toe to these two. It's just going to take 4 hours with all the contact moments in this race. Probably. Hello, Moo. Fred goes very wide, goes off onto the outer green. That's going to cost him a bit of time as we come on to the final lap. Let's go a bit further forward. Jez is down in 10th. Hamilton's in 9th. Simmers in 8th at the moment. Grin's in 7th. Zanger's in 6th. Dex is in 5th and top 5. Recently been passed by... how am I saying? Grin's in 4th, excuse me. Dex is in 5th. Nordy's in 3rd. Kovacs is in 7th and way down the road. Is the championship leader. Not quite able, I think, to clutch the championship this time. That Z4 sounds glorious, I'm sorry. I will say it every time I hear it because it sounds so good. Let's stay here just for a moment. Fred manages to go and around the outside, well, outside then inside then outside of GKR. GKR's not having a great race as we're going to come back at 10 seconds, 20 seconds. We're going to watch Moo because Moo has come over the finish line to finish the race through the final corner. For the last time in the sprint race, it's a sentence I have said 6 times now because he didn't do it in Alsace. 6 times now as Moo comes over the start finish line to win the sprint race again. We then got Kovacs for a very, very well performed and well done second. We got Nordy in 3rd, great race from them. Grin in 4th, Dex in 5th, great to see Dex in the top 5, Dangers in 6th, Bladers in 7th, Simmers in 8th, Hamilton's in 9th, Jezza brings up the top 10, Fracas is in 11th after having a horrible first corner, Chaos is in 12th, Fred just about holds on 13th, GK on 14th, Gumps in 15th, and then Turbo brings up the rear for 16th. Yeah, it's... And another one, yeah. It's basically, it's like watching the F1 season from 2022 and 2023 and the first half of 2024. Max Verstappen wins it again. No, I'm not going to get into that. But no, to be fair, like, to be at that level, at that consistency, and win 6 sprint races, potentially 7th, I forgot. Did you win Alsace? Let me just get the standings up. There's tier 4, tier 4. You'll do. No. So, round 2 was the only time you finished outside the top 5. That was 13th and 7th. The only time you have finished outside the top 5 the entire season. Apart from that, you have won everything. So, to win... No, I got 13th and 7th at Alsace, yeah. So to be that consistent week in, week out does take skill, yes. That's why I say it takes skill. Which is why a tier 2 promotion is definitely in order for you. 100%. Right. So, I didn't race this one, so I have No idea what the strategy could be. Excuse me. I should imagine because of the length of the pit lane and the time in the pits, and because of how quick the overall speed of the circuit is and the average speed of the track is, I should imagine a one stop is going to be the most beneficial. I'm just waiting for my... oh no, there it is. I think Mirror's cheating using some kind of enhancements, drugs or something. I think it's just a very, very strong internet connection, and he has like a little switch at the back of his steering wheel that he flicks, and everyone else just has like minus like 50 horsepower or something. Every Monday is just a battle for second place. I call for a drug test. No. Let me try tier 3 first. No, you can go up to tier 2. No. You're not allowed in tier 3. This is not the way. You can go. You and Claws can go up into tier 2. Anyway, so there's a 5 horsepower sticker. 5 horsepower per sticker. Yes, it's why a lot of cars have a lot of stickers. Right, so going back to strategy, I think a one stop is going to be best for this because you lose the least track time. Tyre wear here, I shouldn't imagine would be that high. The only places I can picture it being high is turn 1. Once the on-air comment section, must be that. Yeah, it must be that. So that's obviously turn 1's obviously going to be a high load corner. It's 160, 170 mile an hour right hand turn. I can also imagine the final corner is going to be quite a high load corner as well. So both of them are right hand corners. They're going to be the high load corners. Apart from that, you want to stay in the slipstream. So I can see potentially a lot of people doing the same strategy to stay close. Now, Jez is on the hards, Hamilton's on the mediums, Simper's on the hards, Blade's on the mediums, Danger's on the mediums, Dex is on the mediums, Grint's on the mediums, Noddy's on the hard, Kovacs is on the mediums, Moo's on the mediums. So it's a good... that's what I thought, mate. It's a good mix of hard and medium runners in the top 10. Practice has gone hards, kind of he does the same. I think it's kind of the same thing that's happened a lot of the time. Chaos is on the mediums, Fred's on the mediums, GKR's on the mediums, Gump's on the mediums, Turbo's on the mediums. Okay, so you reckon mediums will last about 14-16 laps here? I reckon potentially about 16. It depends on the fuel tanks of the cars. The mediums, I reckon, are going to try medium soft strategy. The hards are definitely going to do the hard and medium strategy for certain. And off we go. We can hear all the cars screaming coming down the main straight. Hamilton not got a great start. Simba's got a lot better start. So's Blade's got an okay start too. Dex has got a really good start. We're going to stay up here. Because already we're going into turn 1. Hamilton's contesting going around the outside of Jezza. We're now going to be side by side coming into turn 2. Simba backs off. Hamilton goes into turn 2 in the lead at the moment. Jezza goes a bit deep. Do we get through turn 2 cleanly this time? Yes, mostly we do. Fracas loses out a couple of spots. Gump's already made up a spot for GKR's still in 15th at the moment, going a bit further forward. Kovacs is down to 10th, Moo's already up to 9th. Chaos is battling all over the back of the Mercedes driver, going further ahead. I just want to keep an eye in this vicinity. Oh dear. Let's come back a little bit more to Moo's teammate Gump in the slipstream with Chaos and Kovacs at the moment as we come into the second chicane of the race. Gets a slow entry. This is potentially going to allow Fred to have capitalised. No, it's not, and someone is off. We haven't done a lap, and someone's crashed. Oh, Noddy tries to stick his nose again up the inside. That'll do it. Flat out on the gravel, that would definitely do it. So round goes. Grin in the Lexus. That's going to be his race almost done, because he's now going to be way out of the slipstream. You had an epic race until like 5 turns ago. Yes. Here I am, sweaty to get bullied. Fair enough. Right, sorry, as I was distracted, Moo goes through and gets 7th position from the McLaren driver here, who gets a really bad exit coming out of the final corner. Kovacs gives a little bit of a push. That's kind of ruined Chaos's and Kovacs' run. Kovacs jumps back into the slipstream, excuse me. This is now going to force him to come back behind. Simba's now up into 2nd as well, as I've just seen on the top left. I'm going to stay back here for the moment, because something spicy I should imagine is coming up, because there's a corner coming up, and ooh, that was a very, very, very late brakes from the Mercedes AMG driver. He gets a good push from Chaos. Moo, you know you sabotaged my tyres, but I can't prove it. Yeah, just mistakes happen. As I said yesterday, we're all human. Kovac, oh dear. I kind of want to go back and watch that, because that was recently. Sorry, I'm trying to watch what's being said on chat as well as what's going on up here. So where did Chaos get this penalty then? There. Okay, I see it. Go on, cut. Right, so Kovacs doesn't get the greatest of exit. I'm going to concentrate on the commentary rather than comments, just for a moment, until it kind of lulls down a little bit. We're going to go further forward. Jezza tries to go up the inside. Okay. Murder happened. Oh, it's the same murder suspect as yesterday. It's kind of a bit of a half-assed move, if I say so myself. Because look, like you heard, Jezza completely lifts. Simba's on the brakes, or starting to brake. You see his brake lights coming on. Jezza's now starting to brake as well. Both starting to brake. There's a 10-mile-an-hour difference in speed here. Jezza's kind of like sent it too late, if I may say. And Simba's not really expecting it. Okay, technically, no, you're not even alongside either, so there's no rules. Technically, if we're running by the rules, you're not entitled to any space. And yeah, contact's inevitable. Off goes Simba. Jez is now going to have a bit of a bad run. Simba's going to be caught out big time. Simba's going to be caught out and probably caught to the back. Jezza somehow still holds on to 2nd place, as everyone's tussling for positions. Moo in 2 laps has already gotten up to P4. As people go very, very deep into the final corner, go very deep indeed, as Jezza's got himself a half-second penalty. Moo's now up to 3rd, Blade's up to 2nd. Dex is now going to try and follow his teammate. Is his teammate going to play ball with? His teammate is going to play ball. Give his other Z4 teammate the slipstream as we come down, start, finish straight. Moo's now in 3rd. On lap 3, he's in position 3. Yeah, making a mistake in this league it can be very, very costly. Just listen to the sound of that V8 sing down the straight here at the Temple of Speed, as Jezza makes another slight misjudgment on this braking zone. Nearly goes into the back of danger, cuts the chicane. Is that going to... doesn't reset him. Interesting. It's probably going to give him a penalty though, and probably a hefty... Yep, there's another 1.5 second penalty. So Jez has now got a 2 second penalty. Misses the apex completely. This is not going to give the McLaren of Nordy a little sniff up the inside. Not this time. So Jez's hard suck at this track. Yeah, they do. Jez is not having a great opening couple of laps. Going further forward, this is where I want to stay at the moment. Hamilton's just disappeared. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dearie me, we've not even had another lap and there's another incident. This, I think, is just a bit of a misjudgment. A little bit of a misjudgment, yeah. Dex is still flat at the 100-metre board. Now brakes, realising it's 100 metres away. That, I think, is a little bit of a misjudgment. Contact's been made. He tries to go up the inside of Moo. Somehow Blade's not going to get involved in this. Moo gets hit off. Because of the silly ping pong ball effect, that's the word I'm after. Danger's turned in and has now got his screen full of Z4. There is nowhere for him to go. Absolutely zilch. So inevitably contact is made. That would probably nearly result in a heavy collision / almost death if it's left-hand drive. Somehow Jezza gets past Moo and doesn't get annihilated. Hush my mouth and call me Cindy. Moo gets annihilated by Nuddy, who's now very slow, so Simba's going to say thank you very much. I'm going to take that. Through goes Gump, through goes Fracas, through goes GKR, through goes Turbo. Kovacs Moo's now all the way down in plumb last. You have been nerfed. Now, anyway, going further forward to a bit more interesting stuff. Anyway, going forward to more interesting stuff as I then see more contact. Oh, you guys never fail to surprise me. It started from the bottom. Yeah, you start from the bottom, you work your way up. Yeah, this one is literal. So, Jezza serves his penalty. Down goes Jezza as... Oh, you guys never fail to entertain me. Never. This is what I'm kind of lost a bit for words for. Right, let's go back again. I didn't even see this. So, I'm going to pause the video here. And I'm sorry, I'm going to be a little bit critical here. The road ahead is clear. Noddy's on the right. Yes, you are side by side with Gum. I will give you credit. You've now been pushed by GKR. Again. You can see quite clearly you are rapidly closing in on a Ferrari. On top of that, you can see... I don't think many of these guys run VR. If you do, please correct me. I know Moo does. Excuse me. You can see Jezza falling through the ranks, so it must mean something has happened earlier. You then get to this point. You're still not turning. Then you turn. Because you realise that there's your windshield's full of Ferrari. You turn into the car to your right. Okay, you've got nowhere else to go. You probably could go to the left and try and get off and go that way, but that way's incredibly risky. I'd do the same. I'd go to the right. Just stop. Yes, hello to crashing in the straight. Yeah, I know. Crashing in the straight. It's like we're America in NASCAR America again. Yeah. I'm sorry, Fracas, but you kind of do that to yourself. Yeah, you kind of do anyway. Jezza's trying his best. He's sticking to the left-hand side. He's not moving around. It's a hard situation to be in. It just gets worse. I mean, at least he does it before in the braking zone. This, however, is what I'm a little bit more interested in, going a bit further up ahead. This. So Dex is also split slow. First of all, how are you still on track? Second of all, You're still flat out here. Starting to brake. On the brakes. Now you brake. You're closing, smash. Then you somehow glitch onto the outside. This is what's baffling me the most, is you were initially on the inside here. Now you've managed to glitch to the outside. Simba's managed to literally phase his way through an entire car. You then completely turn into him. Okay, you both kind of turn into each other here. I really thought Simba was going to be on Destination, on an episode of Destination Fucked and going this way. But clearly the laws of Gran Turismo physics don't have any means to anything. And drifts his way across the grass in such a spectacular fashion, I kind of want to score it 9 out of 10 for style. And you're both back on grey tarmac. And you don't really lose that much time either. What was that? It feels like I've just inhaled like an ounce of weed and I'm now hallucinating. Like, what was that? It's called the gutter trick. Yeah, I think it is called the gutter trick. So Grin's now back in the party. Grin's now rejoined. He's given both these two a push and basically he's going fuck around, play, fuck around, find out. Jezza backs out of it. Kovacs now gets P10. GKR's now up into P9. Turbo's in P8. So his comeback drive is already going quite well. He's made up half the positions he lost in the last round. Dex is now into P7. He's going side by side with Gump, who's in P6, now in P7. So great move done by those two. Noddy's in P5. Oh, Gump tries to go relate and around the outside. That's not going to work. Here comes Turbo. Who does Dex to feel nice and good? ALR Stewards, I genuinely feel very sorry for you. Like, how have half of you not retired this season? Right. This move here, through the corner, perfectly fine. What follows is not. Turbo is completely alongside Gump. Let me make that quite... What do you mean, how dare you? Tell you to take over just to missed you or you got distracted. I'm glad I missed it. Oh god. If T4W was a Marvel movie, it would be Endgame. Yeah, and you guys are Thanos and I'm the guy going into pixie dust at the moment because, right. Squeezing is fine. Squeezing the driver out to the white line is completely fine and legal. You're allowed to do that. However, I want to point out, this is the limit here. Turbo physically cannot. The track goes to the left. Gump has to turn to the left at some point. Which he's now starting to do. Only a little bit though. Turbo has now got no more road on his right hand side. This is the limit of where you can squeeze. But it just keeps going over and eventually, like, he comes over to a point where these two now hook. And evidently, around both of them go. They both lose out in a ton of places. The recovery drivers now had to start again. Moo's not going to catch up in all this kerfuffle as well. Fred's at the bottom. Fracas is just starting to catch up. He's nearly gone into the back of Fred as well. Jesus, that was very well stopped. So, going further forward. These two have decided to try and kill each other. Alright. To avoid skip, it would be this run. Yeah, I think, to be honest, it would be the whole of Tier 4 white at the moment. But let's just gloss over that because I actually find this quite entertaining, the fact that you guys are trying to kill my voice. That's going to be a penalty for sure. Surely that's a penalty. If you get away with that, I'll be highly surprised. And you got away with that, bloody hell. You did get away with that. So, GKR's lost out. He's now down into 11th. Hello. You can go right through there, no penalty. Enjoy. Oh, okay, I didn't realise you could go right through there. Every time I went right through there, I got a penalty. Maybe it's just a different part of it. GKR tries to get a good run, doesn't, switches to the... Did you just outbrake yourself? Oh, these two are at it again. Sorry to move 2 seconds, I'll read that in a sec, because there's a tiny little bit of a bump. Okay, and you two. You kind of both... That one I kind of feel like you did a little bit to yourself. Again, I'm no steward, it's down to the stewards to decide, but... So, Moo's now up to 12th. He's slowly catching back up. I'm going to stay with the chaos up here, because I'm sensing another death. Because there's a corner coming up. It's okay at the moment. We're okay at the moment. Yeah, we're good. We managed to do a corner in tier 4 without killing someone, so we're good. You guys are doing well. Now, 2 teammates working together, trying to get up to the back of GT7 Gr3. Brakes incredibly late going into the final corner. Makes it work. Let's go a bit further to the front, because we haven't really... Ah, you can cross all the way over to that. Yeah, I didn't realise you could do that. Every time I've done that previously, I got a penalty. Brown trouser moment, yes. I can imagine that would be a very big brown trouser moment. This, however, is going to be a brown trouser moment. Especially for Jezza, who you very nearly sent off into the grass as well. So Chaos has got the run, and a very good run, kind of leaves his teammate hanging a little bit. Jezza picks a braking spot that actually makes the corner for once, which is good to see. Moves now behind his championship rival. Oh, Jezza goes a bit wide. GKR is going to capitalise, gets a good run and a good turn. Here comes Moo in the Jaguar. Doesn't quite get the good enough run to try and contest. I've just noticed that Moo's also short shifting, trying to fuel save, trying to go as long as possible, definitely trying to get onto the softs, as we've got a yellow flag. Why have we got a yellow flag? Why do we have a yellow flag? Oh dear. Our race leader. What has happened to our race leader? 6 laps of uninterrupted open track ahead of him. Blade starting to catch up to the back of him. Does he just get a little... He gets a little unsettled on the sausage curb and into the wall, so around he goes. Through goes Blade, and I can't believe I'm about to say the following sentence, but I will be in a second. Hamilton gets across the track, trying to get out of the way as much as possible and rejoining the racing line. So Danger's in second. Hamilton's down to third, potentially going to lose there to Simba, who's in fourth, going to catch, not quite close enough. I cannot believe I'm about to say the following sentence. Blade Runner is leading a race in a Z4 at Monza. That is a sentence I don't think I've ever said. Now, Jez has been recently dispatched by both GKR and Moo. Jez is now down into 12th. Both teammates are together. They're going to try and bump draft each other back up to the pack. I'm going to go further forward and say this. This is Z4, so it's a big part, though. Yeah, it is saying the Z4 because having driven one myself, the last time I did a season in the Z4, it was terrible. I had a good moment, which was not that. That was a bad moment, Moo. That's not how you do a corner. That's not how you do a corner either, GKR. Now, Moo's lost out a little bit of momentum. GKR's gained a bit of momentum, so he's now all over the back of the Lexus, but my highlight in the Z4 would definitely be last to third in one sector. One of the best starts Ross has ever seen, period, and there is a YouTube short on that if you want to go and see it. Further up ahead, Kovacs has got himself a 1 second penalty. Is he going to serve it? No, next lap. A bit further ahead than that, Chaos is all over the back of Noddy for 6th position. I know why Moo's indicator was on. 2 seconds. Is it going to be American Ryan? No. Moo's indicator is on because he wants to illustrate that Americans can turn right too. They don't just turn left. I think GKR's saying like go past on the right. Yep. Cancel the indication. So GKR and Moo trying to work a little bit with each other from what I can gather. Going a bit further forward, Grin is going up the inside of Kovacs. Kovacs with a 1 second penalty is now going to lose out. That P8. He's going to try and get up. No, he's not. Chaos goes up into P6 up to get him past the McLaren. Kovacs gets a very, very helpful push from Moo. Gets a really good exit. Grin's going to have to redo that pass again. Moo's decided to go and have a little nom on some gravel today, not grass. He's slowly working his way up the food chain. He's still clearly quite hungry for a bit more as he decides to go off into the gravel completely. And he goes off again. No, it nearly goes off again. He outbrakes himself, that's for certain. So, Moo's not having a great lap at the moment. A bit further up ahead. Kovacs has just served his penalty. GKR avoids him as well, which is good. Got my phone now, time to attack. Yeah, he might be a little bit extra. He might be a little bit extra weight under that lump of a Jaguar. Excuse me. Right, let's go a bit further forward. Let's check out the front of the grid, because we've not really checked out much of the front of the grid. I now know why, because there's nothing going on. A couple further back. I can sense something happening here. Let's see what happens. There's a little bit of a push from Noddy onto the back of Chaos. Now, Noddy could... just about out. Just about gets the car to stop. Chaos slightly outbrakes himself, then gets a little bit loose off the corner, coming out of the corner, a bit further back from that. GKR and Kovacs are having a little battle for 10th position at the moment. Moo's starting to catch up to the back of these guys. I'll take a sip of water whilst I can. I feel safe to take a sip of water. You got a new wheel, so you hit the wrong button, which is why your indicator's on. Okay, fair enough. Noddy goes very wide. This could be advantage to Grin at the moment. Grin doesn't press the advantage, decides to push the McLaren. Can't see that on VAR. How the hell did you get a 3 second penalty? So, Dex's race was good, then decided not to be good. Can GKR get a slight edge on Pepper? No, not this time. GKR tries to hang around the outside. Kovacs serves his penalty, now falls down to 11th. Dex relies on the acceleration of that Z4 to keep him ahead at the moment. It's doing him just about good enough work, but not anymore. GKR's now got this overspeed. This is going to be interesting, a drag race between the Z4 and the McLaren, which is helped by Moo. Why? We were doing scientific research. That's not... So, Dex is now back down to 11th. Kovacs is up to 10th. Moo's helped his championship rival up to 8th position. Oh, why do I have a feeling so... No, it's Spa. I know he posted something up in a group that I'm in with him in Spa. I know something happens at Spa in similar fashion. So, Moon GKR back up into the top 10. We're on lap 10 of 24, so we've got another 14 to go. We're nearly halfway. And it gives GKR a bit of a push. GKR basically says go up my inside. GKR brakes a little bit earlier than Moo, so let's move through. So interesting games being played at the moment by the two championship leaders. This Dexter has himself another penalty, so back goes Dex. Through goes Turbo. Jez is going to let his teammate who's on the medium tyres go ahead, which is what he think they should have done a couple of laps ago to save his tyre. Jez is coming in. Interesting. So Jez is the first driver to stop. Interesting. Jez is opting potentially for track position and for a huge undercut and being out of the slipstream. What's going on up here? GKR being extremely nice and fair. Could have very easily potentially capitalised here. Evening Yuri, how are we? Yuri, you've missed some good stuff, mate. This is why I said join. You've missed some very good stuff, mate. We're going further forward. Okay. Okay, right. It seems to be there's a bit of a reoccurring theme here with this particular car. I'm sorry, but I'm going to say it now. Now, Silver makes a slight mistake. That's fine. You brake a bit later. Fine. Doing that, however, not so fine. This is not good. Technically, that could be classed as a push to pass because you've pushed Simba off the track and off wide. I do kind of see your point, Falcon. Yeah. That would technically be classed as a push to pass if it was reported. Now, I can kind of understand Gr3's hesitations here because you could go right and you could go right, and initially your trajectory was right, but you then switched to left because Simba started turning left, then he started turning right, so I can understand why you hit him here. The rejoin from the Beetle wasn't particularly great, and I can completely understand this, which is why you lose out on a few positions. So, two championship leaders. Next targets are the Beetle and the other McLaren. Now, is the other McLaren going to play the team game here? As we almost have a repeat of a fair few laps to go. Nodi now loses out a couple of positions. Moo goes up to 6th. The two McLarens are now together. We've got Kovacs just behind, so this is going to be interesting. It's becoming into turn 1. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up with the trying to catch up with the comments as well as keep an eye on this. Gr3's now in P10, he's not quite in this yet. Kovacs goes for the overtake rather than the bump draft to try and push GKR into this. Moves now up to 5th. Kovacs has a tiny little lift, gets the car to rotate again. Why do I expect death? Ooh, Kovacs very, very late on the brakes, goes up the inside, does have a little bit of an impact with Simba. Noddy's now down to 8th, Turbo's now up to 10th, Gr3's now down to 11th. And GKR in all of this isn't really catching up through these guys. Kovacs, goes around the outside of Simba, which is a great move in itself, but GKR's kind of struggling to catch up to the back of these guys at the moment. Moo's gone through, Moo's done the job. Yeah, he's getting killed left, right and centre. So that's a team swap. That's a very, very clear team swap. However, that's very nearly cost Turbo a race as well, because Turbo nearly goes off the track. Now going to be under a lot of pressure from Gr3. Gr3 goes off the circuit, keeps it completely pinned, and repeats the same mistake as many laps ago. And eventually rejoins. Fracas now up to 14th. Fred up to 13th, not having a great race. Gump is up to 12th. Dex is in 11th. Turbo's in 10th. Nordy's got themselves a 1.5 second penalty. And in 9th, so that's going to drop them out of the top 10. Jez is all the way at the back. Jez is that car there, who's just pitted. What tyres he come out on, actually? Interesting. I don't know what you're going to try and do. Oh, Turbo. Blade, excuse me, not Turbo. I was thinking of the wrong car. Blade nearly lost it coming out of turn 3, but then got Danger in 2nd, being hunted down by Hamilton in 3rd. Let's stay up here for a little bit. Unless anything else goes on in the back over there. Let's stay with GKR. I reckon GKR might have a little look. He's short shifting a lot though, trying to fuel save, gives Simba a bit of a push and lifts. So GKR wants to go the distance. GKR potentially thinks and feels that the softs might not be able to go 10 laps. I don't think they can, but I could be wrong. Now he goes for the attack. Simba's on fumes as well. He has to pit this lap. There is no way he can do another lap, surely. Danger comes in with 6 litres of fuel, or 6% of fuel. There goes Simba's fuel tank. He's on 0. Runs out of fuel literally in the pit. So that is extremely fortunate and lucky for Simba. Chaos comes in as well. Chaos has got less fuel than Danger. And he's in a Lexus. So, where does this bring Jezza? Yeah, Sausage Cover almost lost the cut. Yeah. I'm curious, where does Jezza come out in all this? Does he have a good undercut? I don't think he does. Because there's Chaos coming out now. He beats Noddy and Simba. So the undercut worked for him. For Jezza a little bit. He's got a massive overspeed compared to Chaos, who's trying to warm up his tyres a little bit in the moment. Chaos is going to the end, easy. Danger's come out quite a bit ahead of Chaos as well. Fracas, what can you do, mate? Yeah, I noticed from yesterday. Because I've just missed something as well. Dex has got himself another 3-second penalty. Because these two changed positions over that previous lap. So Hamilton comes in. Moves now up into 3rd. stays out. It's going to do one more lap. Kovacs stays out, still got plenty of fuel actually. GKR stays out. Turbo comes in, so on the different strategy compared to his teammate. Fred's obviously going to stay out. Fracas comes in. Dex is going to stay out for one more lap too. Gup stays out as well. Grid stays out too. So there goes Hamilton. Hamilton's come out on the softs. Hamilton thinks he can do 9 to 10 laps on these softs. This is going to be interesting because Danger's on the fresh set of hards. So if he can get in front of Hamilton, he can really hold up Hamilton, makes Hamilton's day really, really tricky. Hamilton very late on the brakes as we come into the second chicane. Hamilton does keep the position, does keep ninth position at the moment, so advantage to Hamilton at the moment. He's got to be a little bit careful he doesn't just burn through the softs. I think Falcon pitted to try and undercut Blade. Because surely Blade's coming in. He's been starting to lose a lot of lap time recently too. Moo's going to be coming in too. She's running out of fuel. Kovacs has got the fuel to go maybe one more, but comes in anyway. GKR does extend. Now GKR did this yesterday at Sardinia as well. Fred extends, Dex comes in, Gump comes in. Let's see where Grin is, and then we're going to come back to Hamilton. What does Grin do? Does Grin come in? No, Grin stays out, so we're going to stay with Hamilton at the moment. See where Blade comes out in comparison to Hamilton. There's Blade. Blade does not have enough speed to catch up to the back of Hamilton, and Blade comes out on the softs. He's got one lap younger softs. Moon now comes out on the softs too. So all the medium runners are doing what I thought, which was the medium softs strategy. And yeah, the undercut did work. Because there's Blade and there's Hamilton. There was an entire corner difference. So it's advantage Hamilton at the moment. Jezza, who pitted a long time ago at lap 11, he pitted, gone back onto the mediums. Can the mediums go the next lap? Can the mediums go the length? And can his fuel last? His fuel might be able to last. He gives Chaos a little bit of a push. Chaos is on the hards. So keep an eye on them too. GKR comes in. Where's Moo? There's Moo. We're going to stay on board with Moo just for a moment. So finally, Fred, Grin and GKR come in. GKR is going to finish fueling up there. He now comes out of the pits. Through goes Moo. Through goes Kovacs. Jezza and Chaos, are probably going to go through too. Or if not, be there to potentially fight going in through turn 1 and coming into turn 2. Now Chaos picks up the slipstream. Jezza has a little bit of a lift. There's a tiny little bit of contact as both drivers are trying to get to the inside. Chaos is trying to get his nose up the inside of GKR. Not able to. GKR holds the position at the moment. Chaos is out, GKR, is out on the soft. Chaos is on the hards. So Chaos is really going to struggle to get in front of that McLaren. It's nice to see a different array of strategy. Turbo comes out on the hards. Doesn't think he can get the softs last the distance either. then got Fracas, Dex and Gump 13th, 14th and 15th, with Grin bringing up the rear at the moment. Fracas doesn't get the exit he's after. Dex, however, does get the exit. Is he going to contest and challenge? He's going to try and challenge. Decides not to take the sausage curbs as he's learnt his lesson. Fracas, however, gets a really good sequence of corners, gets a really good run coming out of the final couple of corners as we come charging down this back straight. Fracas gives Dex a little bit of a push just before the braking zone. Dex goes very deep into the braking zone, uses Gump as the temporary braking solution. Wouldn't recommend it, wouldn't advise it, but it works. Fracas takes the advantage of that, then takes the advantage of Gump's offline. However, Dex is now going to push Gump forward. Fracas has put his hazards on, so I think he might be typing something. So through goes Dex. It's not time for a break, YouTube. I still need to finish this. How are we going to go into turn 2? Fracas tries to have a look. Dex is very late on the brakes. Does nearly hit into the back of the Jaguar. I think he does hit the Jaguar. Let's just watch this one again. Does he hit the Jaguar? Yeah, he does hit the Jaguar. So, Dex hits the back of the Jaguar, Fracas hits the back of Dex, and through goes Fracas, through goes Dex, and backwards goes Gump. Just another normal day in Tier 3. Let's go a bit further forward. What's going on up ahead? Jazz is still chasing down Chaos for 7th position. GKR's disappeared down the road using his soft tyres very well. Danger's in 5th. Kovacs is in 4th on the softs. Moves in 3rd on the softs, with Blade in 2nd and Hamilton's in 1st with a country mile of go. Tier 3. Did I say Tier 3? Sorry, I meant to say Tier 4. It's just another day in Tier 4. Sorry. Front left looking sus. That front left is looking very suspicious. So Hamilton's on track of potentially winning his first, I believe it might be your first feature. However, Moo is doing Moo things and being very moving and is on a charge again. He's slowly catching up to the back of that Z4. He's got 5 laps to go. 5 laps to do it. There's chance. A bit further back we've got Kovacs in the Mercedes. We've got Danger performing a slight power slide because he can, and he's got plenty of tyre to shed in front of GKR, who's in 6th at the moment. He's just set the fastest lap of the race again. Backs off a little bit. Doesn't really want to attack into here. Goes a little bit deep and a little bit wide. This might cost him a little bit of time, but he's going to gain it back through here. He's got great cornering momentum. Go further up ahead. Move all over the back of Blade. Blade at the moment trying to defend, not able to do too much. Moo is the reigning champion in this tier. Well, I say the reigning champion, leading champion, excuse me, at the moment. So you don't really want to be fighting too much. So Moo's now up to 2nd, a bit further back. GKR's now in 5th, but not quite got the move done yet. Now I've said previously that the Peugeots do lack top speed, and it's now becoming quite evident as GKR does slip ahead. Tiny mistake, great overtake though. Yeah. GKR goes a little bit wide as we go through one. Danger's going to try and capitalise, take the slightly tighter line. Who is later on the brakes? It looks like Danger's slightly later on the brakes, but it's showed the outside line. Can't make it work, so GKR goes through for 5th position at the moment. bit further back, Jezza makes the corner, which is good to see. Finally gets past Chaos as well, so Chaos is now down to 8th, but Jezza has lost a lot of tyre. So this might swing back in Chaos's favour later on. Nordy in 9th with Simba in 10th, starting to chase down. Fred is in 11th, Turbo's in 12th. Dex is in 13th, Fracas is in 14th, Gump's a little bit further behind in 15th, and Grin's in 16th at the moment. But we're going to stay here because Moo hasn't really lost the back of Blade yet. He's not really lost him the way he potentially sometimes does. Blade really revving out that Z4, keeping it in 5th as long as possible. Stretching out those gears, trying to scrub every bit of speed he can out of that Z4, but I don't think it's going to be enough to catch up to the back of Moo. What are we doing? 161, 162, there's 164, 165. The slipstream is definitely helping Blade catch up to the back of Moo. So the Z4's definitely showing their long legs and an extreme amount of power here at Monza. It's doing Blade very well at the moment for a top 3. All the drivers are getting a bit closer together again. All the different strategies working out. Let's check out front. Hamilton's tyres not looking that healthy. Z4s so fast coming from a Jag driver too. Yeah, don't get me wrong, the Jag is quick, but the Z4, the power it has coming out the corners is mighty. Get it in the slipstream as well, it is incredibly quick. It just lacks a little bit of the braking and turning power as Moo slightly messes up going into the corner. This is going to allow Blade to potentially retake 2nd position. This is not what Moo wants as we're coming up to the couple of laps to go. Moo holds to the right hand side. Blade gives Moo a little bit of a push. If these two work together, they could bump their way up to 1st. Moo uses a lot more of the exit. Blade tries to keep the car quite tight. Scrubs a little bit of speed, but going to make it back up down the straight. Look back. How did you get a 3-second penalty? I don't really want to know how you got a 3-second penalty. I'm guessing you mean look back to here, because there you are. Ooh. Okay. Now, technically you guys are still side by side. You can't really give Nordy any more room, but then again, Nordy's still got to expect the fact that you're there. Next lap, same corner as well. Okay, I'll keep an eye out. So Nordy still got to expect the fact that you're there, and still got to respect the fact that you're there. And doesn't really, the trajectory is very much I'm shutting the door. So the touch, yes, unfortunate. And you do gain the position back. Again, one could argue it's a push pass, but at the same time, Simba's not had a great lap either. Excuse me. Sorry before I blast people's eardrums out the walls. Simba now back up to 11th, get past Turbo in the slipstream of Fred. Yeah, you could argue it's a push pass. You could also argue the fact that Nordy didn't really give you any space and just turned in expecting you to not be there. So you can kind of argue both cases with that, and I think you can do that with a couple of instances here. Right, let's just have a quick check further forward before we come back to the same corner. Moo's starting to open up the gap a little bit to Blade. Hamilton's just gone. The only time Hamilton's going to be caught up is if he makes a mistake. Looking well to get your first win. It is. It's looking very well. Although your tyres say a different story. So GKR starting to catch up to the back of Kovacs at the moment. Let's go a bit further back. Dangerous is kind of in no man's land on his own. Jez is on his own as well. Chaos is going through these couple of corners and we're now back onto the back straight. So I've been warned to come back to this point. Let's stay here. Z4 sounds so good. Yeah, it does. Oh. You see, Yuri, this is why I said join, because it's good fun. Right. Let's stop here just for a second. So I like most stuff here, all bark, no bite. See what? Yeah. Right, I'm going to break this down before everyone in the comment section starts exploding. So, Chaos has made his position very clear. I'm holding the inside. Now, if this was me fighting Chaos for 8th position, I've got all this track surface to the left. As Fred very jokingly said yesterday, I've paid for the track, I may as well use it. You've paid for your part of the track, you may as well use this. All this space here. You can fit the Russian army in this gap here. However, Nordy decides to go for the tiniest gap. Yes, there's a car's width, you could go for it, but I wouldn't. Now, Chaos is also fully on the brakes. Nordy's only just starting to get on the brakes now. It's too late, committed. Ah yes, instant breakdown when mad. Yeah, I do this a little bit. I just sort of go from a different point of view because I don't actually see this before. We're technically still on track. Chaos is... he's sticking to his line and then just gets completely yeeted out of the way. Nordy doesn't even make the corner either. Here comes Fred, who's going to capitalise big time. Tell Simba. Simba does, yeah. Okay. Right, just for a second. Comment section, just for a minute, pipe down. If you're going to discuss about it, do it in your DMs. Not here, not on main chats. Sort it out between each other. We've had this issue a couple of times before. So, the pair of you, if you want to talk about it, chat about it in your own little private DMs, okay? For now. Let's crack on with this. Let's enjoy the final couple of laps. I'm sorry, but that was a little bit of a bad move, if I may. Exactly what I left to see. Yeah, I get ya. As I've missed something because like there's a little bit of contact a little bit further back as off goes. I'm looking in the chat, Trent. So what happens here? Oh, Simba just slightly brakes a little bit later, hits into the back of Nuddy. Fred's got nowhere to go, so goes off into the gravel. Nuddy somehow keeps it on the track. Turbo now gets ahead of Fred. We're going to stay up here because these two have had a little bit of history. What's gone? Oh no! Oh no, GKR, no! It was going so well. He was up into P4 after recently passing Kovacs. What's happened? Goes a little bit deep, gets the gravel. Oh no, that's so unlucky. It was going so well. Oh. So super unlucky from GKR. Gets the car back straight, gets the car going. So GKR, after having a very, very good run up into P4, and they make the slightest mistakes, ever so slightest mistakes. So, Nordy's now up to 7th, Simba's up to 8th, GKR's down to 9th, with Turbo in 10th at the moment, Fracas, excuse me, Dex is in 11th. Well, there goes Fracas for 14th. What's happened back here? Ooh. So, Fracas and Fred are having their own little battle for 12th at the moment. It's become down the hill under the bridge, it's become up to what I believe is Raskas, so Jury will be able to remind me as the two to go side by side into there. That doesn't work. Okay, I need to watch this from Chaos's point of view because it is Chaos. Yeah, sorry, we'll come to you in just a second, Hamilton. Oh, he gets a push from his teammate as well. So that kind of upsets and unsettles things. Off goes Fred and round goes Fred. Fracas is now in 14th. Gum's now going to definitely capitalise on 1, potentially 2. Excuse me. Maybe even contest 3? Nope, not quite 3rd. So, Fred's now down at the back. Fracas is in 15th. Gum's now in 14th. Fracas is now going to challenge Gum back for 14th. Fracas gets a really, really strong and good exit. What tyres is he on? He's on the mediums. Okay, he's got plenty left. This is going to be an interesting drag race, BMW versus Jaguar, and I think it's going to be a Vantage Jaguar. It is Vantage Jaguar at the moment. Let's go back up near the front. What did you do? What did you... Oh no, he just lost rear tyre. He completely lost it. Going through what I believe is Lesmo's one, and through goes Move to take victory. Hamilton gets a reset, which is incredibly lucky to get a reset. So Move, after what might have been a P2 finish in his first time in P2, is going to get extremely lucky and he's going to get first, and providing he doesn't crash. 5 corners left in the dream, I know. Blades in second, his tyres are not looking that much better. Kovacs is in 3rd with the best looking tyres of the whole top 3. Danger's now in 4th after Hamilton's lost out another position. Is he going to be able to make it around the final couple of corners? He's going to have to be very, very careful. You are treating this extremely carefully. Hamilton goes down the back straight now, but we're going to go further forward to probably the luckiest driver in ALR this evening, who was in P2, who's set to scare the crowd with me for VR immersion, by the way, yeah. So Moo comes over to win yet another race, yet another feature, so he's now 6 for 7, with Blade in 2nd in a Z4, so fantastic race from Blade. Kovacs is in 3rd, Danger gets 4th. Hamilton, with his first one ripped away from him by a rear tyre, is in 5th, Jez is in 6th, Noddy's in 7th, Simba's in 8th, Turbo's coming over the line for 9th, Dex gets 10th after a bit of a hard race in the mixed race. GKR comes over the line for a very, very unlucky 11th, who should have been 4th, easily, potentially even 3rd. Gwyn gets 12th, Chaos is in 13th, Fracas gets 14th, Gumps in 15th, and Fred comes around the final corner for 5th, for last, excuse me. Wow. That was a race. That was a very, very eventful race. Yeah, I'm a little lost for words. I'm not gonna pray for the whole soft thing's going to use. Yeah, you may as well use the whole softs if you paid for them. Yes. It was a good race. It was a very, very chaotic race. There was a few instances where I do think people... Yeah, I'm going to be very careful what I say at the moment. No, pause. There's going to be... there was a few incidences where, yes, right, it was a bit naughty. Unfortunately, a lot of them involved this driver. But that's what the Stewart system's for. Grab the clip, tag the person, do your report, send it to the stewards, let them deal with it. People who try and deal with it in the race, as a couple of people who remember from last year, was it last year or earlier this year? A couple of seasons ago, remember, between what happened to Sonic in Tier 1, deal with it on track, you get banned. And yeah, it's unfortunate because we lost a really good and clean driver who left the league, which is a shame really, because GKR was really the only one that could take it to fracas this entire season, and it's a shame really. So for this race, I'm going to sit here, we're going to look at GKR for probably the last time for a little bit, and I hope he comes back soon. But Moo takes an even more of a lead with 71 points over GKR, who's in second. We then got Danger in third, Turbo in fourth, and then we have got Kovacs, who brings up the top 5 at the moment. Looking over at the constructors, it is now joint first between Jaguar and Peugeot, so it's going to go down to next round, easily next round for the constructors. It's probably set in stone for Moo now for the championship, unless Moo doesn't turn up for the next 2 races, which he's already done it. And then in third position we got the McLarens, and fourth is the Ferrari. So the constructors title is not settled yet. It can easily swing one of 4 constructors' ways, which I have a feeling it's going to go down to the final round next week. So I hope everyone's had a great time. It's been interesting, and we will see you all soon.